vectors, what can you do in this mode? First, let me tell you how you will enter the vector mode. You have to press menu and you have to press 5. When you press menu and 5, you enter into the vector mode, and then the calculator asks you to define vectors. Maximum you can define 4 vectors, and they can be 2-dimensional vectors or 3-dimensional vectors depending on the question. So whatever the question is, you have to be careful whether it's a 2-dimensional question or a 3-dimensional question. And then the operations that you can perform are, you can perform the basic operations, that is addition of vectors, scalar multiplication of vectors. You can find the magnitude of vectors, dot product, cross product, angle between the vectors, and unit vectors. And inshallah, we'll try to cover all these features today. And all those people who have studied 2 and 3-dimensional vectors are aware of the fact that all these operations do take lots of manual working. So calculator will help you verify whether after all those manual working that you have done, have you achieved and reached the final answer appropriately. So the first question in front of you is an O-level past paper question. And before I start this question, I want you all to observe that the vectors in front of you are PQ and QR. And if you note, both these vectors are 2-dimensional vectors. Why they are 2-dimensional vectors? Because you are only provided with X and Y values. If it would have been a 3-dimensional vector, you would have been provided with 3 values. Moreover, I would also like to inform you or tell you that whenever you are solving questions regarding vectors, you have to ensure that throughout the question, the vectors will either be 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional. You cannot have some vectors 2-dimensional and other vectors 3-dimensional. You have to remain consistent throughout the question. Furthermore, it is also important for you to realize that we will be operating, or we will be performing vectors there are 3 methods of representing vectors. There is the coordinate form, that is x comma y in 2 dimensions, and in 3 dimension it is x comma y comma z. And then there is column vector form as mentioned in this question. The representation of vector in this question is column vector, in which you write x, you write y, and if it's 3-dimensional, you write z. And then there is Cartesian form, that is I, j, and k form, where I denotes movement along x-axis, j denotes movement along y-axis, k denotes movement along z-axis. So I hope everyone is aware of these 3 representation of vectors. So I will define the first vector PQ, and I will consider PQ as vector A. So I would repeat for you guys that I have pressed menu and I have pressed 5 to enter into the vector mode. Now I am pressing 1. As soon as I press 1, the calculator will ask me, it is vector of which dimension? Is it a 2-dimensional vector or a 3-dimensional vector? Since it is a 2-dimensional vector, I will press 2. And the question will be in the column vector form. Whether the question in the question paper is Cartesian form, column vector form, or coordinate form, the calculator will read it in the column vector form. So PQ is vector A, and it is 12 is equals to minus 35 is equals to. Agreed? So I have defined the first vector PQ, and to define the first vector PQ, I have pressed 12 and minus 35 respectively. Now I have to define the other vector. So to do that, I will press the OPTN button, the option button, I press the OPTN button. The calculator is asking me, do I need to define further vectors? Do I need to edit vectors or I need to calculate vectors? I need to define more vectors. So I will press 1. Vector A has already been defined. So I will press 2. My vector B is QR, which is also a two-dimensional vector. So 4 and 14. I will press 4 is equals to. I will press 14 is equals to. So now I have defined my vector B, which is QR. So the two vectors denoted in the question has been defined. Now the first part of the question is find the magnitude of PQ. So in order to find magnitude of PQ, what we will do is we will first clear the screen. Once we have cleared the screen, we need to press shift and we need to press bracket. When we press shift and bracket, I hope everyone by now remembers that whatever is written in the calculator with yellow is denoted by the shift button, and whatever is written with red is denoted by alpha button. So since I need to find the magnitude is also known as absolute value of the vector. So absolute value of the vector is shift and bracket. I press shift, I press bracket. The calculator is saying absolute value of what? I need to find absolute value of vector A. So I will use option. When I press option, the calculator is asking me, do I need to define vector? No, I have already done that. Do I need to edit vector? Agar मैंने कोई गलती कर दी है, if I have made a mistake, then I would have to edit vector. But now I need to use the vector. So I will press 3 because my vector A is 3. And now I will close the bracket. It's very important that you close all the brackets that you have opened up. So you need to find the absolute value of vector A. And absolute value of vector A means magnitude of vector A. So magnitude of vector A is 37. So normally we use the formula x component square plus y component square plus z component square, the whole thing under root, to get the absolute value or the modulus of the vector or the magnitude of the vector. But in calculator, once you have defined the vector, all you need to do is press shift, press bracket, press option 3 and bracket close. So you will get the magnitude of vector A. I hope this is clear. All right. So the first part of the question was to find the magnitude of PQ. Although the question is not asking to find the magnitude of QR, but let's say you need to find the magnitude of QR as well. So I would request the participants to do it themselves. Why don't you find the magnitude of QR and share your answer in the chat box? That way it will be clarified to me that you have understood the first concept. For the audience, and what I'll do is I'll press shift, I'll press bracket, I'll press option, and vector B is my QR. So it's vector B, and I will close the bracket. I will press equals to, and the correct answer is 14.56. So absolutely correct. And that is the correct answer. So the first thing that I need to teach you was how to find the magnitude. The second thing is in this particular question is to find the vector PR. I hope everyone is aware of the fact that when you add vectors, you have to follow head to tail rule. In order to add vectors, you have to follow head to tail rule. And in order to follow head to tail rule in this particular case, in order to move from P to R, you will have to add PQ plus QR. You will have to add PQ plus QR. PQ is my vector A, QR is my vector B. So basically I need to add vector A plus vector B. So what I will do is I will press option, I will press 3 plus I will press option again and I will press 4. So vector A, which is PQ, plus vector B, which is QR, PQ plus QR is the result, which is 16 and minus 21. You can see it on the pop-up screen. It is 16 and minus 21. So the correct answer of vector PR is 16 and minus 21. I hope this is clear. The next part of the question is, given that T is the midpoint of QR, T is the midpoint of QR, and we need to find PT. Before we find PT, we need to define QT. If T is the midpoint, then QT will be half of this. So I think it's better that we define a new vector, vector C. So I'll go to option, I'll press 1 and I'll press 3 because now I have to define a new vector, that is vector C, and it's a two-dimensional vector, and this vector C is QT, and QT, since T is the midpoint of QR, QT will be half of this. Half of 4 and 14 is 2 and 7. It's important for us to define the vector so that we can do the needful. Now I need to find vector PT, and as per head to tail rule, I will move from P to Q and then from Q to T, PQ plus QT. QT is defined on your screens as 2, 7, which is vector C. So basically to find vector PT, I need to add vector A, which is option 3, plus vector C, which is option 5. So vector A plus vector C is 14 and minus 28. So PT is 14 and minus 28. In order to find PT, I first found QT because T is the midpoint of QR. So QT is 2, 7. That was vector C. Then PQ plus QT is vector A plus vector C, which is 14 and minus 28. I hope this is clear. If this is clear, please show a thumbs up. And if we get quite a number of thumbs up, we'll move on. If you have a question, feel free to ask.
There is a question asking if you can explain the midpoint question again.
All right. The question says, given that T is the midpoint of QR, which means that if I divide QR by 2, I will get QT because it's vectors. So if T is the midpoint of QR, so halfway between QR is T. So QT will be half of 4 and 14. Half of 4 and 14 is 2 and 7. So what I have done is I have defined a new vector C. Vector C that I have defined is 2 and 7. Agreed? So what I did now was I will apply head to tail rule again. I will start with P. I will end with T. So PQ plus QT. So PQ is option 3, which is vector A, and QT is option C, vector C, which is option 5. And this is the result. On the other hand, you can also, this was one strategy, one way of doing it. The other way of doing the same question is, what you do is you press option 3, which is vector A, plus half bracket open, option 4, which is vector B. Half of vector B, vector A plus half of vector B is same 14 and minus 28. So since it's midpoint, it's half. So what I did was PQ plus half of QR, which will also give me the same result. It is up to you how you utilize the features of the calculator. I hope this is clear now. Questions are built up. Now look at a three-dimensional question. Although I have written it, try yourself. But what I'll do is, I'll do the first part and you people do the second and the third part. So that way we'll all become very comfortable. So first thing that we need to do is, we need to realize that this is a brand new question and we need to insert new values of vectors. So what I'll do is, I'll first press shift 9 3 and I will initialize all, and all the memories of the calculator are now gone. I will press menu and 5 to enter into the vector mode. And now I will start defining the vectors. I will press 1 and define vector A. And please realize vector A is I, J, K, which means it's a three-dimensional vector. So I press 3. And now, although the question is in Cartesian form, that is IJ form, but the calculator will be in column vector form always. So I have to adjust accordingly. I means 1, 2J means 2, and K means 1. I hope this is clear. 1I plus 2J plus 1K. So 1, 2, 1 is vector A. So I have defined vector A. Now I will press option and I will press 1 to define vector B. Vector B is, now the calculator is asking us, is B a two-dimensional vector or a three-dimensional vector? Apparently, it seems as if B is a two-dimensional vector because it is only I and J. But my advice to all of you is, if the whole question is based on three-dimensional vector, which is obvious because K are there in some of the vectors, it's advisable to conclude that vector B is also a three-dimensional vector. So I will write 3 is equals to minus 5 is equals to, and I will not write anything in place of, sorry, I apologize. I'll define edit vector B. I'll press 2 and I need to edit vector B. Edit vector B. It's 3I minus 5J and there is no K. So it is 3 minus 5 and 0. I will write 0 in place of K because there is no K. Kindly do not consider this as two-dimensional vector because the question itself is in three-dimensional form. If all A, B and C were I and J only, I would have considered them as two-dimensional vector. But since A, B and C have A and C three-dimensional and B two-dimensional, we will consider B as three-dimensional as well and write 0 in place of K. I hope this is clear. Now I will press option and define vector C, which is also three-dimensional, and this is minus 8 is equals to 7 is equals to minus 2 is equals to minus 8I plus 7J minus 2K. I hope I am very clear. And once I have defined this, now the next task is to solve the question. So my vectors are defined. Now I have to, let's say, do 3A plus 2B. So I will write 3, option 3, which is vector A, 3 times vector A plus 2 times option 4. 3 times vector A plus 2 times vector B is 9 minus 4 and 3. 9 minus 4 and 3. I hope this is clear. Let's say if it would have been A minus 2B plus C. So A minus 2 option 4 plus C option 3 option 5. So vector A plus 2 times vector B plus vector C is this. So whatever the question is, we can easily solve it. So since I am done with part 1, I did one extra part also. Now you have to do part 2 and 3. So you have 1 minute to do part 2 and 3. Kindly share your answers on the chat box once you are done with part 2 and 3, and I will proceed. I think people are understanding it. I will solve it also so that it's more convenient. So it is 3 option 3 plus option 4 and minus option 5, which is 3 times of vector A plus vector B minus vector C, and the result is 14 minus 6 and 5, which is absolutely correct. I hope this is clear. And the next part is minus 2 times option 3, that is vector A, plus half. Half is 1/2 option 4, which is vector B, minus 3 option 5, which is vector C. And the result is 23.5 minus 27.5 and 4, which is absolutely correct. I hope this is clear to all of you. If there are any questions, please feel free to ask, else we'll move on to further questions. So the next question is find u dot v, where u and v are the vectors. Once again, please realize that u and v are 3-dimensional vectors. So the first task that you need to do is you need to define the vectors, and since you are defining it all over again, you need to clear the memory of the calculator. To do that, you'll press shift, you'll press 9, you will press 3. The calculator is asking you whether it can initialize everything. Yes, press the AC button and everything in the memory of the calculator is deleted. Now press menu and 5. You will enter into the vector mode. You need to define the vectors. The first vector is 2i minus 6j plus 3k. So first we will suppose that vector u is vector A and vector v is vector B. So vector A is a 3-dimensional vector. So option number 1, vector A is a 3-dimensional vector, which is 2i. So 2 is equals to minus 6j, minus 6 is equals to, and 3k, 3 is equals to. So 2 minus 6, 3 is vector A. Then vector B is option 4, vector B. You need to define vector B. So you press option 1, press 2, and vector B is also a 3-dimensional vector. I plus 2j minus 2k is 1 is equals to 2 is equals to minus 2 is equals to. So 1, 2 and minus 2 is vector B. Now you have to find the requirement of the question. Unfortunately is not on the screen, but what I'll do is I'll tell you the requirement. The first part of the question is to find the dot product of vector A and vector B. There are 3 different forms of multiplying vectors. One is algebraic multiplication. The things that we were doing here, like this question, 3a plus 2b or 3a plus b minus c minus 2a, this 3a represented algebraic multiplication, minus 2a, half b, minus 3c, all this represented algebraic multiplication. Then there is scalar multiplication, which is also known as dot product. Then, so in order to find the dot product of vector A and vector B, what you need to do is you need to press option, press 3, which is vector A. Then please do not write this dot. This dot is not the dot product. To find the dot product, you have to press option, you have to scroll down, you have to press 2. You have to press option, you have to scroll down, you have to press 2. Now this dot is the dot product. I hope this is clear. What I have done is I have pressed option 3. I have pressed option. I have scrolled down. I have pressed 2, and this is the dot product. I want to find the dot product of vector A and option 4, which is vector B. So I need to find the dot product of vector A and vector B. And the answer is -16. All those people who have been doing vectors must have realized the fact that in order to find the dot product, we multiply I component with I component, J component with J component, K component with K component, and add the results. So calculator has done all the things for you, and you have finally resulted and reached the answer that is -16. I hope this is clear. I hope you have understood how to find the dot product of these two vectors. So the next is cross product. Cross product officially is a lengthy task, and the cross product is used to find the direction of a 3-dimensional vector plane. There is the vector equation of a line, then there is a vector equation of a plane. The wall of your house or your room is a vector in 3 dimension. Your rooftop is a vector in 3 dimension, and it's a plane. So when you are moving into different objects, you are looking at different objects, you look either at a vector point. When I say A is I plus J plus K, I am referring to a vector point. When I say that there is a vector line, then it's vector A plus gradient of that particular vector, and that denotes the directional vector. And then there is a plane. The rooftop, the walls are the vector equations of the plane. In order to find the vector equation of the planes, we need the cross product at times. So in order to calculate cross product, all we need to do is we need to press option 3, which is vector A, multiply option 4, which is vector B. So vector A multiply by vector B means the cross product of vector A and vector B, and the result is 6, 7, and 10. So this is the cross product. I would repeat myself for those who have not applied these features earlier. There are 3 multiplications in vectors available. One is algebraic multiplication, where you multiply a constant with a vector. Then there is a dot product, in which you multiply I component with I component, J component with J component, and K component with K component in order to find the angle between the vectors. Then there is cross product, which is used and to find the perpendicular vector of the plane so that the equation of the plane can be determined. Okay? So these are 3 different multiplications in vector available: algebraic multiplication, dot product, and cross product. All these 3 have 3 different uses and features. And if the examiner asks us to find the cross product or the dot product or the algebraic multiplication, we should be well versed on how to do that. Through calculator, it's a very simple task. If you are told to perform algebraic multiplication, I will write, let's say I need to find 3 times vector A. All I have to do is 3, option 3. So this is 3 times of vector A. This is algebraic multiplication. Then if I need to find the dot product, I will press option 3, that is vector A. Option, I scroll down, I press 2, dot product with vector B, so option 4. So I got the dot product between vector A and vector B. And if I need to find the cross product, all I need to do is option 3 multiply by option 4. So this signifies the cross product, that is 6, 7 and 10. I hope this is clear. So the leading question to this is to find the angle between the vectors. And I have used the same example for angle between the vectors. I have already defined the vectors A and B, which is 2i plus 3j plus 4k, and B is I minus j plus k. In order to find the angle between the vectors, once again, it's a certain formula that we use manually in order to find the angle between the vectors. In order to find the angle between the vectors, the first task is to find the dot product. The second task is to apply the formula. And the third task is to find the angle. So it's a 3-step process manually. But in case of calculators, if you need to find the angle between the vectors, all you need to do is press option, scroll down and press 3. When you press option, when you scroll down, in 3 you are shown angle. So you press 3, angle, and the bracket is open. So calculator is asking you to identify, you need to find angle between which vectors. I need to find the angle between vector A, that is option 3, and vector B. Before you write vector B, you have to introduce a comma. Comma is shift and bracket close. If you realize, the comma button is with yellow, so shift and bracket will give you this comma, and then you press option and you press 4. So the calculator is telling you to find the angle between vector A and vector B, you have to close the bracket, and when you press is equals to, you will get the angle between vector A and vector B. Now at times the question tells you to find the acute angle, but your answer is obtuse. Sometimes calculator asks you to find obtuse angle, but your answer is acute. In that particular case, all you need to do is you need to subtract the angle by 180 and you will get the obtuse angle or the acute angle, whatever is desired. Okay? So if you note, this is the obtuse angle. If you want to find the acute angle, this is it. Sahi? I don't know if the answer on the screen is correct or not, but as per the vectors that we have inserted, this is the correct answer, which is on the pop-up screen. This is the correct answer. Angle between vector A and vector B is 139.6324. And if the question wants you to find the acute angle, then 180 minus answer. So when you perform the angle function in vectors, sometimes you will get the acute answer, sometimes you will get the obtuse answer. You need to be careful what the question is asking. If the question is silent, you can give either of the answers. But if the question has asked you to give the acute answer, then make sure your answer is acute. I hope this is clear. I will do one more question of angle so that the concept is further clarified, and then I will ask questions from you guys. If there are any questions, I will take questions, but first let me solve one more question for you. I will define a vector. It's a new vector, so I am first clearing my screen. Shift 9 3 is equals to, and the AC button. I will press menu 5 to enter vector. Vector A, let's suppose, is a three-dimensional vector and the values are 5i plus 2j and 3k, and vector b on the other hand is also a three-dimensional vector, which is 1i plus 1j and plus 1k. So I have defined the vectors. Now I need to find the angle between the vectors. So I will press option. I will scroll down. I will press 3. And now I need to find the angle between A and B. So I will press option 3, which is vector A. I will press comma. Comma is shift and bracket close. All yellow buttons are operational by pressing shift. All the red buttons or things written with red are operational with the button alpha. I hope this is clear. Option 4. So I need to find the angle between vector A and vector B, which is 20.5 degrees. If let's say the question is find the obtuse angle between vector A and vector B, so all I will have to do is I will have to press 180 minus answer, and the calculator will show me both the acute and the obtuse angle. I hope this is clear now. Now, if you have questions, please put them in the chat box. So now there is a different set of question on your screen. There is a different set of question on your screens, and you are told to find the magnitude of each vector A, B, and C, and you also need to find the unit vector. I hope people are aware of the fact what unit vector means. Unit vector is a vector with a magnitude of 1. So any vector divided by its magnitude will give you a unit vector. Any vector divided by 1, any vector divided by its magnitude will give you a unit vector. The magnitude of unit vector will always be 1. I will be able to prove that to you also. So let's first define the vectors. In order to define the vectors, we need to clear the previous function stored in the calculator. So I will reset the calculator. Shift 9 3 is equals to AC. Now I will move on to menu 5, which is vector. Vector A is a three-dimensional vector. I, that is 1, is equals to 2 is equals to 1. Then there is B, which is 3i minus 5j. But since the question overall is a three-dimensional question, I will consider vector B to be three-dimensional as well. And that is 3 is equals to minus 5 is equals to, and I will consider this as 0 as mentioned earlier also. Then I will define vector C, which is option 5, which is option 1, and then 3 is vector C. It's a three-dimensional vector. Minus 8 is equals to 7 is equals to minus 2 is equals to. So I have defined vector A, B, and C, and now I need to find the magnitude of each and then the unit vector of each. To find a magnitude, I have taught you that you have to press shift, bracket open, and you need to find option 3. So you will find unit vector of vector A. I hope that's clear. Magnitude of vector A. Then you will press option, then you will press shift and bracket, absolute valued function of option, that is 4, which is vector B. You will close the bracket, you will get the magnitude of vector B. Then you need to find the magnitude of vector C. So it is shift absolute valued function that is modulus, that is magnitude. You need the magnitude of vector C, which is option 5. You will close the bracket and you will press equals to. I hope this is clear to all of you. So this is how you find the magnitude of the vector. Then you are told to find the unit vector. To find unit vector, all you need to do is press option, scroll down and press 4. So the calculator is asking that you need to find unit vector of which vector. You will press option, you will press 3. So you need to find unit vector of vector A. So unit vector of vector A is this, which is vector divided by its magnitude. I hope this is clear. 0.4082, 0.8164, 0.4082. I hope I'm clear. Can you please find the unit vector of B and C yourself so that it's clarified to me that you have understood. I'll repeat the process. You need to press option. You need to scroll down. You need to press 4. Are you all with me? And you have to press option and whichever vector you want to find the unit vector of. I have found unit vector of vector A. So I will press 3. I will close the bracket and this is unit vector of vector A. Am I clear? Kindly find the unit vector of vector B and C. And once you are done, show a thumbs up. Do not write in answers because it will be too many decimals to write for you. But show a thumbs up, I'll solve it for you. You need to press option. You need to scroll down. You need to press 4. And you will press again option and 5 so that vector C's unit vector can be found. I am starting off with the question which is on your screen. I am first solving the question which is on your screen so that you all are with me. If you'll tell me, if you'll request, we'll also do the previous question. But for the time being, I'm starting off with this question. So menu 5, 1, I will define vector A, which is a 2-dimensional vector. I plus 2j means 1 and 2 respectively. I will press option, I will press 4. Vector B is to be defined, so I will press option 1 and 2 so that vector B can be defined. It's a 2-dimensional vector. 3 is equals to minus 4 is equals to. And then there is vector C. So I will press option, I will press 1 to define vector C, which is 3. It's a 2-dimensional vector, which is minus 6 and 8. So we have defined the vectors. Now the first task is to find the dot product of A and B. So I will press option, I will scroll down. I will press option, I will write 3, which is vector A. I will press option, I will scroll down, I will press 2, that is the dot product of vector A with vector B. So option 4. And the result is minus 5. So vector A dot vector B has the dot product of minus 5. Then I need to find the magnitude of B and C. So to find magnitude of B, I will press shift and bracket. I will press option 4, which is vector B. I will close the bracket and magnitude of B is 5. Then I will press shift and bracket. I will press option C, which is 5, bracket close, and I will press equals to, which is 10. So magnitude of vector C is 10. Then there is algebraic multiplication and addition. It's minus 2. And then there is vector A, so option 3, plus half, option 4, which is vector B, minus 3 option 5, which is vector C. And I will press equals to, so I will get 17.5. And now please realize, automatically, if the vector is such that, or the value is such that fraction is possible, it will automatically give both the fraction as well as the decimal value. But if it's an irrational number which cannot be converted into fractions, then that's something which is not doable. So I hope this is clear. Then you need to find unit vector of B. To find unit vector of B, we will press option, we will scroll down, we will press 4, unit vector of B, so option 4 bracket close. And the result is 0.6 and minus 0.8. In this case, if I want to find the fractional part, I am pressing the SD button and I am scrolling into the fractional part also. I hope this makes sense now. I hope the older query has also been resolved. The last part is to find angle between A and B. To do that, once again, I will press option, I will scroll down, I will press 3. I will press option 3, which is vector A. I will press comma, which is shift and bracket. I will press option 4, which is vector B. I will close the bracket. And the result is 116.6 degrees. It is obtuse angle. If I wish to find acute angle, 180 minus answer, I will also get the acute angle. I hope this is clear. And conceptually, this marks the end of the functions of vectors in the calculator.